तन ब तकदीर, slaves of fate। इसी कुरान में है अब तर्क-ए-जहां की तालीम, जिसने मोमिन को बनाया मह-ओ-परवीं का अमीर। Quran is a divine book of Creator, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If a reader who is bawuzu, and by that I mean that he has performed ablution, and ablution means that he has freed himself from all the conditionings, the extra weight that he has added to his wings, or the society has put this burden on him, like caste, color, creed, sects, nationalities, or anything that he associates with, and then he sees inferior human beings walking around him. So if he cleans himself, if he frees himself of from these conditionings, then he is bawuzu. Okay, so if a reader who is bawuzu and he reads Quran, then Quran will help him understand the workings and mechanics of this universe. And depending on his sincerity and quest, he may understand the mechanics of universes that lie beyond our universe. There have been men who have lived and walked on this earth. They were human beings just like any other human being, but they understood the mechanics of system of Allah. So I will combine all the universes into one word, system of Allah. So yes, so there were men who have lived on this earth, and they knew the workings of system of Allah. There is a system in place, and we are part of the system, and Quran is a manual, it's a holy manual that explains this system for its to its readers. Now let's bring our attention to Muslims who supposedly read Quran. I don't want to generalize it for all Muslims, not to offend anyone, so I'll just use the term so-called Muslims, and that too from Indian subcontinent region. I'm from Pakistan, so I'll talk about the so-called Muslims from that region. So the Muslims of this region, from 16th century onwards till to date, they were convinced and they are convinced that Quran and the universe are at opposite ends. So Quran is something different, whereas universe is something else, it's outside. Quran is just a book that contains stories from old times, and then there is a promise of stern punishments for those who are non-believers in it, and then there will be eternal reward for those who carry a Muslim name by birth. Whereas the study of universe and its origin, its the secrets that it has, it's a job of kafirs, the non believers. So, and whom Allah will punish, anyhow. So we should not follow kafir's way, we should not follow their way, and we should not waste time in studying the universe, and so we should not explore universe. That's the main point. And rather, if we have some free time available, so we should spend that free time in recitation of Quran, and which is in Arabic language. And most of the so-called Muslims, they have no idea about the Arabic language. But story doesn't end here. तन ब तकदीर है आज उनके अमल का अंदाज, थी निहां जिनके इरादों में खुदा की तकदीर। A false belief has entered in these societies, in our society, that whatever happens, it is from Allah. So He is doing it for us. जो कुछ भी होता है अल्लाह की तरफ से होता है. That's our saying, that's how we say it. So, because it is from Allah, so we just accept it. Whatever happens outside, in our society, we just accept it. So let me give you a few examples. Your son is a drug addict, or your father is a drug dealer. And eventually, they suffer the consequences of their actions. Son gets cancer, or father gets caught by the law, and you in your mind think that it is Allah ki marzi, Allah di marzi, it's from God. Okay, so you put it on God. Second example, you divide your society into Kamins and Chaudhries. Okay, and then you put this evil thought in Kamin's mind that he should accept it. He should accept it that he is Kamin and he is impure. So, and it is Allah ki marzi, it's Allah di marzi, it's God's will. Okay. Third example, you knowingly elect, moralless, characterless, corrupt to core, caste addicts and brotherly addicts, the tribal mentality as your respectables, as your leaders, and you just, believe that it's Allah ki marzi, whoever comes to power, it's Allah ki marzi, he has the right. Cutting the story short, it's all God's will, and what we, the so-called Muslims should do is to accept, that will, accept it as our fate. And then we have invented a term, mati pao, that, just forget it and move on. That's how we deal with this. था जो ना-Khoob बतदरीज वही खूब हुआ कि गुलामी में बदल जाता है कौमों का ज़मीर. So how did this transformation take place? I mean, there were those human beings who lived and walked on this earth, and they knew the workings of their societies. They knew how the world works. They knew the mechanics of, of this universe. They understood the system of Allah that is in place. And they were the translators and implementers of will of Creator. And then there are these who put all their ills and blames on Allah. So few words that can efficiently describe this transformation are be-amal, be-amali. That means actionless. So their minds, their tongues, and their character, they all speak a different language. That is be-amali. And then kahil, lazy, forget about action. They don't want to think even for a second, so that's why rather, they just follow, they are the best followers. Whatever, society tells them, whatever their forefathers taught them, whatever media teaches them, from any source, any foreign source, whatever information they get, they just believe in it. Okay, so that's how lazy they are. And then the last one and the third one, not the last one though, the third one is ayash. Okay, so they want to satisfy all their lusts, not a single one should remain unsatisfied. And they are slaves of their fate, and this slavery has changed their thought process, the way of thinking. So what was good, what used to be good, they have made it haram, and what used to be bad, they have accepted it as a good. So it has messed up with their thinking, their makeup. So they have accepted to live in a still and dull universe of theirs, okay, in their minds, whereas Allah's universe is not dull, it's not fixed, okay? It is dynamic and it's in the process of creation. And there is a room for every soul to express itself, to its full potential in God's universe, in Allah's universe.